What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update, and we're still here with Brian Daigle. How are we doing, Brian?
We're doing good. We're doing good. It's the final update I believe I'll be doing because Simeon's back to take his rightful place on the throne. So it's been a good week.
Yeah, it's been a fun week here presenting with you. But yeah, like you said, we have to thank you for all the hard work that you've put in over the last week. But Simeon will be coming back, I think, Sunday when we do the preview show for the Fulham game this weekend. If you're new around here, do go click on our brand new website in the description below, WeAreTottenhamTV.co.uk. Just about that has gone up there just now has been the transcripts or the takeaways from the Ange press conference before the Fulham game that's gone up today. But let's get into the update. Not too much to talk about today, but what we're going to start off with is Rodrigo Bentancur. As Ange has been talking about him a lot in the press conference, the quote is, Rodrigo has been training. He's now fully integrated into the group, which is great. He's missed a lot of football, so we're measured in how we reintroduce him. But that the more he trains with the lads, he'll feel more like himself. It'll be good to get him back in and amongst it. We'll be careful with him. He's fully training. He's looked good, and we're looking forward to getting him back. So only positive news on Rodrigo Bentancur, that is. It looks as though he is closer than ever to returning to the pitch. He's not going to be in the squad for this weekend just because it's a bit too soon for him, but it's great to see him fully integrated, isn't it?
Yeah, we've seen it, and we've seen the progression coming on. And now when you hear Ange Postecoglou say, right, this is where we are with him, he is back in full team training. He's fully integrated, the word they've used, or he's used with the squad. It's a huge positive, and just well enough because maybe he might be back for when and if Bissouma picks up that second yellow card or the next yellow card after his ban against Fulham. Having him somewhat near fitness is a good thing to have in your locker.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Ange manages this situation, because obviously he's had a very important injury in ACL that's kept him out for such a long stretch of time. And with Bissouma just walking the tightrope from next game against Crystal Palace, I don't know, because I don't think they're going to push him to come back sooner than what they would hope, because it was such an important injury and you don't want to aggravate any sort of or brush him back or anything like that. So it'll be interesting to see when they do kind of get him some minutes. I do expect a lot of minutes from the bench before they start him, regardless of the Bissouma situation, to be honest.
Well, one thing I will say about this as well is what we've got to remember as well, it's not just about his physical fitness, mentally now as well. It's like when he tries to do his first turn, or his first outstretching that leg for a sliding tackle or committed, you can only imagine. Obviously, I've never had a huge, massive injury that's ruled me out of action for the best part of 6-7 months. That there may be that little bit of fear for that first tackle, that first twist, and trusting the body and trusting the leg. So hopefully he can use minutes off the bench to overcome that, should there be any fear in that.
The way I'm looking at it, and the way I've always looked at it, is just getting back to his fully best by the time that AFCON comes around, and that's in January. Yeah. And if he's fully integrated in the squad now, then surely that's more than enough time to get him back to full fitness by January time, isn't it?
Yeah, I completely agree. That should be where we're looking at for him to be back. Obviously, there's going to be a heavy reliance on him with the two going off in midfield to the African Cup of Nations. So we've got time to bleed him in and get him ready for a busy schedule in January.
And don't get me wrong, like, I'm hoping to see him before then, and I do expect to see him in maybe bench appearances, maybe even starting the odd game here and there before January, but I don't expect to see him making any starts for at least the next month and a half or something like that. I don't even think we'll see him starting before the next international break, to be honest. But after that next international break, maybe that's when you're going to see him start to be properly integrated on the pitch. But all positive news on Rodrigo Bentancur. Yep. And just before we move on, it's also worth noting that in the press conference, he said that all the international players that we had fears over have seemed to have come through unscathed, and they're all going to be fine for this weekend. So positive news on the injury front. Let's move on and let's talk about this Van de Ven interview on Talk Sport, which was fairly interesting. Before Tottenham confirmed the £43 million deal completed to sign Van de Ven, Liverpool and Bayern Munich were both interested in acquiring his services. Ultimately, though, he chose Spurs to join from Wolfsburg, with the main reason for doing so being revealed. And he has revealed those decisions, and he has said, this is the direct quotes from Mickey, and he says, because of the good talks with Spurs, he said in a recent interview, it is really important for me what the manager says. If I would play a lot, what at my age is very important, and I had the best feeling with Spurs. Not only has Van de Ven impressed with his own displays, but in addition, he's also helped Romero amid his new responsibilities within the new leadership group, with TalkSport pundit Darren Ambrose making a major admission about the 22-year-old. And it's great to hear stuff like that from Van de Ven. And the Ange pull is real. The Tottenham pull is real. And Van de Ven ultimately chose Spurs over the likes of Liverpool and Bayern Munich.
Yeah, I mean, just when you thought you could not fall in love with this man anymore, he says something like this. And let's remember that with Liverpool and Bayern Munich, you've got European football.
Yeah.
Liverpool and Bayern Munich, let's face it, to start off with right now, you would say they're more favourites to win before a ball was kicked. If Mickey coming were more likely to get major honours. But it just shows what a manager can do as a pull. And I will say fair play to the board on this, because I will give credit where it's due and criticise where I think there should be. And this time they deserve praise, because what a gem we have got here, and the club have done something right in convincing him, and hopefully that will continue to happen for many a season.
Does this prove as well, maybe? Look, I don't know how serious the Liverpool and Bayern Munich offers were, or if there were any offers, if it was just talks or what have you, because we did hear in the summer that Liverpool are not going to be going for Mickey Van de Ven because they don't feel he's ready enough just yet, which I think has been, proven wide off the mark right now. But does this prove that Van de Ven has a wise head on his shoulders? Because it could be very easily to be swayed by the bright lights of Liverpool, the bright lights of especially Bayern Munich, champions of German league every year in the Champions League. But he's chosen to join Spurs on the back of knowing that he's going to get more minutes in the Spurs team as opposed to the other two clubs.
Yeah, well, first of all, I mean, when it comes to location, we know that a lot of people, that London is a huge pull, huge pull for players. Yeah, we never know how far the progression went on the deals with Bayern and Liverpool. I remember with Jan Vertonghen, his successor, when he was at Ajax, and an interviewer was saying at Ajax, right, is your future sorted? He goes, it's getting there. And he goes, do you know where you want to go? And he went, yeah. And he went, Tottenham. And then he went, and he winked and went, yeah. It's kind of like that with Van de Ven. It's kind of like he had this set in his heart. It looked like this one really appealed to him, and he's got an incredibly wise head on his shoulders.
I agree. Let's talk about these quotes from Vicario on Hugo Lloris, which is really interesting because a lot of Spurs fans are being like, what's Lloris still doing here? Just cancel his contract. And I did push back on that a little bit. And I said, he's been captain here for so long. I don't feel like Lloris is going to be one that's going to be causing a bad feeling behind the scenes. I feel like because he's been so central to Spurs and been captain for so long, I feel like he could become a bit of a mentor and a coach behind the scenes. And that seems to be what's happening with Vicario, because he says, I have respect for Hugo. He helps me a lot during the training. It's good for me because it's my first year abroad. And on the back of those things, Vicario does have the highest save percentage in the Premier League this season. He's talked about as one of the best performing goalkeepers in the Premier League alongside Alisson. So, I mean, are these people that were saying that Hugo Lloris should have his contract cancelled now, that he didn't find a transfer after the transfer window shut, being proven wrong a little bit?
So maybe, but the great thing to see is I'd love to have him on as a coach. Like, don't go on a transfer. If you come out and say you're retiring from football, sign up as part of the goalkeeping coach. A World Cup winner. Let's face it, for a majority of his time at Tottenham, he's been an absolutely stupendous goalkeeper. The last couple of years, obviously, he started going on the decline. And it is. I will admit that I didn't think he would have been having such a big impact on Vicario. I thought it might have been slightly the other way round, but it's good to see him showing his professionalism. And also, you look at it, it's a great goalkeeper to learn off, isn't it? With no
Mm.
disrespect to Fraser Forster, who would you rather be learning? I mean, Fraser's probably helping him as well, but Hugo, his CV for what he's achieved in the game, forget the trophies, but appearances, uh, captain for both club and country. What a role model in that position to speak to and learn from. And who knows, maybe there will be a coaching role in the near future for Hugo.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, he's struggling to find a club, to be honest, unless he wants to go out to Saudi and earn the big bucks, which I don't feel like he shouldn't do that. Why not? For the last few years of your career, go and earn that kind of money, where a lot of players are going out there right now. But when he does come back, or if he does go out there, or even if he doesn't choose to go out there, why not take a bit of a mentor and a coaching role at Spurs? Which it sounds to me from those quotes from Vicario, that's what he's doing behind the scenes anyway.
Yeah, it looks like he's doing it, but not being given the title, isn't it? It's kind of like you're doing the job of that, but you're not. Who knows? Listen, when he does go, he may want to retire and go back to France for a bit. He may want to explore other things, but we keep saying that we want more football people around the club in any capacity, whether it be ambassadorial or anything. And if you're looking for a goalkeeper coach, and if it's something Hugo wants to pursue, as in coaching, then we should gladly accept it and take him up on it, because if I wanted to learn over to become a goalkeeper, I'd listen to every word this man said and more.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's finish off talking about this bit of a strange one, to be honest, because all the Spurs players were walking in after international break, and they were all being filmed walking in by the social media guy, fist bumping, and then Eric Dyer walks in. And before I say anything, let's show you the clip, and then we'll talk about it.
How you doing? You good?
You don't need to film me, it's okay.
That's okay.
I know you're going to use it.
Come on, man. We'll get you.
Hello, guys.
How you doing?
So, I mean, bit of a peculiar one. He goes, "You don't have to film me. I know you're not going to use it." I mean, from what I get from it, it is a bit tongue-in-cheek. But then when people make jokes, sometimes there's an underlying truthness to it. And that's what I kind of get from it. I feel like maybe he meant it to come across as a joke. But it kind of feels like he's feeling sorry for himself a little bit. What do you get out of it?
Well, I mean, first of all, I was saying to Sammy just before, kind of surprised they even put it out there. It's like, because it is going to cause stuff like this. And obviously, Eric Dyer isn't the most liked player by the fan base, and people will criticise. I've been one of them. You've been one of everyone's been one of them. It just seems a bit silly to put it out there. Yeah. I mean, what does it achieve in the grand scheme of things, apart from more heat coming on Dyer's way? In all honesty,
it achieves more clicks to the Spurs social media page. That's what it clicks. That's what it achieves.
There you go. That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, it's a weird one. He does feel like he's feeling sorry for himself. And listen, that man earns a hell of a lot of money right now to just go and train for however many hours. But as we all know, money doesn't always bring you happiness and success. And we just need this saga over with, don't we? He just needs to leave, have a fresh start, be rejuvenated, and the club move on.
But I mean, it is sad watching something like that, isn't it? Because whatever anyone thinks about Eric Dyer and about his footballing skills is kind of irrelevant in this situation, because he's been at Spurs for so long. He's been a great servant to the club in terms of loyalty. He's had good years at the club. It's just that we've kind of moved on from him and outgrown him in a certain extent where, yeah, you're right, he should have moved on already by now, which he hasn't. But that doesn't take away from the fact that he's been a good servant to the club, and he should still demand, or he should still have the respect of the fan base, albeit we all think probably the same, that he probably has outstayed his welcome and probably should have been moved on by now. But that's not his fault, is it? I mean, no. You know, it's not his fault that he's been picked every week for the past couple of years. It's not his fault he hasn't been replaced up until the summer that has just gone. And it's not his fault he's not good enough for us anymore. He's still here, but it's not that I don't feel the need for Spurs fans to pile on him because of that situation.
Yeah, there's not much more I can say on top of that. It's the way things have panned out for him. They're back from international duty. He's had this little clip. It's gone out there. Like you said, he's had a few good seasons or spells in seasons. especially that first season as a defensive midfielder for Poch. I thought it was outstanding. But it is when a player is outstayed is welcome, hasn't it? And the only thing I will say again, with you saying like about him not, it's not his fault he's not here. The only way I can look at it is if there apparently were offers, and obviously he was not willing to take any or listen to any, which is his prerogative. But if you want first team football and any attempt to get back into the England squad, sorry, then you need minutes. And maybe he's had opportunities, he's just turned them down. But either way, this is just a strange one for me.
Yeah. Well, let us know what you take of it in the comment section below. Is there even anything to take away from it, to be honest, or is it just a little joke that Dyer's running with, or is there some truth to the matter? Is Dyer actually feeling a bit sorry for himself at the moment? But that is your Tottenham update for today. Brian, thank you so much for joining me today. Go and subscribe to Tottenham on Tour, and go and visit our website as well, WeAreTottenhamTV.co.uk. Link in the description below. We'll see you all very soon. Brian, it's been great being on screen with you for the whole week. Thank you so much for joining me.
Well, brother, as you and Simeon know, when it comes to this channel, anytime you need me, I will always be there. Don't care what the issue is, I'll always be there. It's always a pleasure spending time with you guys, and it's been a lot of fun for me as well.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you all very soon. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always, come on you Spurs.
Come on you Spurs.